trying to see something. Trying to see something. Salam Israel, Most High in Christ. This is Captain Azania of the ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, New York. Since the 60s, 1969, we've been teaching the absolute truth of this Bible, the absolute truth. Okay? This Bible is full. Who the Most High God is, Yahweh is the name of the Most High God. His begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, whom the world mistakenly calls Jesus Christ. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's one of our key topics that we bring out. Who are they? Okay, I'm gonna go over that, a little bit of that tonight. All right. But of course, thank y'all for your patience. My God. All right. Captain Azania, under Commanding General Yahana, the only man authorized to have an Israelite group. Okay? I'm going to say it just like that. Other Israelite groups, they're not supposed to have a group. They're doing that falsely, vain, incorrectly. All right? With that being said, Commander General Yahana kept what was taught to him by the 7 heads. The 7 heads were taught by Abba Bivens in the 60s. Commander General Yahana raised up generals under him, captains, officers, troopers, and the sisters make up the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. There is no other group. We are not associated or affiliated with any group, organization, religion, ideology, or philosophy outside of ourselves, because we are established and set up by the Most High God. Okay? All right? And being that we're established and set up by the Most High God, we are the priests and prophets of the Most High God here on the earth. All that you read in the Bible, that is us. Okay? That is us completely and in its entirety. Fighting with them, right? I'm fighting with it. Ooh, I'm fighting. Hey, cooking, baby. I like frankincense and myrrh. I love it. I love it. Love the smell of frankincense and myrrh. My grandmother used to burn frankincense and myrrh. You know them pie crust pans, the foil, the real thin, the pie crust pans. My grandmother was in the Catholic Church as well as the Baptist Church. And her being in the Catholic Church, going live, right? Should be live. Okay. She would go to this store. It was a Catholic store on the north side of Syracuse, North Salina Street, right next to Rockies, if everybody's familiar with Syracuse. Right there on Salina, Butternut, right there. Okay. But anyway, my grandmother would go into that store and she would buy frankincense and myrrh and no pie crust. After we would have pies, she would keep the, not the pie crust, but she would keep the pan that it was baked in. The pie was baked in. She would keep those, wash them. She would put the frankincense and myrrh on. She would wrap them in paper towel, or she would put paper towel on top and on the bottom of the frankincense and myrrh. She would set it on fire, of course, light it. And I remember that as a child. So, Barakatah Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, he always has a remnant. The Most High will have a remnant of Israel. We may be doing some things that are connected to our ancestry of who we truly are. Okay? Our connection to the Most High. It's little things that we may do. All right? Okay? Okay? Like I'm picking up right now the dice. These dice, right? Okay? This is biblical. the Urim and the Thummim, the dice. You know, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans like to shoot and roll dice. There's a biblical priesthood will keep dice in their breastplate in case they had to make a judgment. Urim and the Thummim to make a judgment on a matter. I say, okay, we're gonna roll the dice. That's what you get. All right, well, let's roll the dice. You ever heard of that before? That terminology. Okay, let's roll the dice. That's where that comes from. Okay. Okay. Should Black people celebrate the 4th of July, especially after you just celebrated Juneteenth? Should Black people celebrate the 4th of July? I made this post a couple of days ago. Oh, before I get into that, let me play this here. Play this here. We are truly in a destroyed state as Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We're in a destroyed state. Like, we really have no idea of who we are. Okay? And being that we don't know who we are, we feel as if this is really sad, because not knowing who we are, we go ahead and hate ourselves. And in hating ourselves, we tend to hate each other. We do hate each other. If you hate yourself, you're going to hate your own people. Right? And hating your own people shows how destroyed we are, our mentality, our spirituality. You hate your own people, you hate the Most High God. Because you are God's chosen people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you make up the 12 tribes of Israel. And you are God's chosen people. Let me play this video for you real quick.
The bear wouldn't try to fuck me. You know, I'd rather die than to get. You know what I'm saying?
So why not the Black man?
Why not the Black man? Because they be a little wild out here. Like, they lack boundaries more than any other race. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Now, if you would say like a white man or something, I don't know.
Would you rather be trapped in the forest with a Black man or a bear?
Definitely a bear.
Did y'all hear that? Now, this question has been going around, I think, for over a year now, maybe 2 years. Would you rather be trapped in a forest with a bear or a man? And sometimes it's specifically asking a Black man. And at first, when I hear the responses, at first I'm just shocked and going, that's crazy. That's insane that these women will pick wanting to be trapped in a forest with a bear rather than a man. And I'm upset with the sister, but then I also have to understand, why would a sister think like that? And there are multiple things that go into why a woman would rather be trapped with a bear rather than a Black man. Okay? All right? Now, you might be looking at me and you might be like, we're going to be trapped with Kevin Zanya, you know, the bed, the husk. All right, but there are contributing factors as to why would a woman want to be trapped? Let me get that. Let me get the other one. I'm gonna play this one more time.
Definitely a bear. I ain't gonna care.
What? Why bear?
Cause I feel like the bear wouldn't try to fuck me. You know, I'd rather die than to get. You know what I'm saying?
So why?
I hear like the boundaries more than other race. You know what I'm saying? Like, now if you would say like a white man or something, I don't know.
In the forest with a Black man or a bear?
Definitely a bear. I ain't gonna care.
What? Why bear?
Cause I feel like the bear wouldn't try to fuck me. You know, I'd rather die than to get. You know what I'm saying?
So why not the black man?
Why not the black man? Because they be a little wild out here. Like they like any other race. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. Now if you would say like a white man or something, I don't know.
Would you rather be trapped in the forest with a black man or a bear?
Definitely a bear. I ain't gonna cap.
What? Why a bear?
Cause I feel like the bear wouldn't try to fuck me. You know, I'd rather die than to get. You know what I'm saying?
So why not the black man?
Why not the black man? Because they be a little wild out here. Like they lack boundaries more than any other race. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. Now if you would say like a white man or something,
My
I
mouth
don't know.
stuck.
Would you rather be trapped in the forest with a black man or a bear?
Definitely a bear. I ain't gonna cap.
What? Why a bear?
Cause I feel like the bear wouldn't try to fuck me. You know, I'd rather die than to get. You know what I'm saying?
So why not the black man?
Why not the black man? Because they be a little wild out here. Like they lack boundaries more than any other race. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. Now if you would say like a white man or something, I don't know.
Would you rather be trapped in the forest with a black man or a bear?
Definitely a bear. I ain't gonna cap.
What? Why a bear?
Cause I feel like the bear wouldn't try to fuck me. You know, I'd rather die than to get. You know what I'm saying?
So why not the black man?
Why not the black man? Because they be a little wild out here. Like they lack boundaries more than any other race. You know what I'm saying?
think I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Salaki, everybody. Uh, I think I'm still alive. Now we're gonna do it like this. All right. Bear with me, y'all. I apologize. I may not be able to share clips, but I should be able to continue the show. I'm gonna try to do it. This time. All right. I think I should be still alive, right? Okay. The while for y'all patience again. I'll do it like this. Okay. All right. The sister just said, if you saw the clip, there's a question going around. Would you rather be trapped in the forest with a bear, or would you be trapped in the forest, or would you rather be trapped in the forest with a black man? And it's shocking at first when you hear, oh, I'll choose the bear. The majority of the women when that question is asked. This is just social media, so I don't know if the responses are being edited. Like, say for instance, people are saying black men, and we're not getting it. So it could be that. However, it's still a number of women who choose to be trapped in a forest with a bear rather than a man. Trapped in the forest with a bear rather than a black man. And with that being said, at first it's shocking. It's sad. It's like, what? Doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense. It is wrong. But we have to give space to understand, right? Because if a woman is saying she'd rather a bear be trapped with her in a forest, she cannot communicate with a bear, right? A bear, most likely, and based off of nature, a bear would attack her if they're trapped in a forest. Okay. So she's essentially saying she'd rather be trapped by herself because she's feeling, I think a lot of women are feeling a bear is not going to bother her. She can escape a bear. I don't know how. Or not be around the bear. I don't know. I think a lot of time, I don't know. But they're saying that because they've been attacked by men, used by men. And it could be as aid. I'm saying that for Facebook and for YouTube. Could be as aid, could be great, could be verbal abuse, physical abuse, domestic violence, domestic abuse. Could have been ridiculed. There has to be a negative aspect to it. And then when the sister said, ain't nobody else all over and so persistent in the black man. Now, if you would have said white, you know, flip ends there, as if white men are better than black men, they're not as trying to F her, just trying to have sex with her. Black men are more persistent than white men to her. Okay? First, we have to understand demographic. A lot of times we don't take in consideration demographics. If our people are committing crime, they're going to commit crime amongst the people that they live or that they work. Okay? Black people, majority of Black people live amongst Black people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we live together. So if a crime is committed or an offense is committed, it's going to happen from your own people for the most part. White people commit a lot of crime. They commit the majority of crime in America. In fact, PDF files put that together are majority white men. And who they attack and abuse and harm? Their own wives, their own children, their own family members, their own nieces and nephews. Okay, those in their community. They have the highest rate of doing that. All right, they commit crimes. They rob banks. Okay, there's a big controversy going on right now. Young M.A. and her song and NDRE. And white people are scammers. They're the number one scammers. Okay, all right, they're the number one scammers. However, that image gets put on us, and then we take it because we go, you know what? I am scammed by Black people. Tupac said it. He said, the white man, they're saying the white man is who we should fear, but it's on my own kind killing each other here. I'm paraphrasing. Tupac said something like that, and everybody go, oh yeah, he's right. We the only ones hurting each other. It's a demographic thing. Okay? So when a sister hears Black man, she's automatically thinking of negative because she's been in relationships with Black men. Who is she going to be cheated on by? Cheated, quote unquote, by Black men. Who's she going to be disrespected or abused by? Black men. I'm not saying that it's right or justifiable. However, your mind is set on that low percentage because of the demographic. It could be a low percentage, but because of the demographic, you will embrace it. All right. Let me get something else too. Think of it this way. Who else? Something else I wanted to say about that. Okay. So even though we have to accept that, does that make it right? No, it doesn't make it right. And to be trapped in the forest, the safest entity for a Black woman is a Black man. Regardless of what you're being told, regardless of what you heard, the Black man is the number one protector of Black women. Put us in the forest together, we're going to find our way out of the forest. And if we trapped in this forest and can't come out, we're going to build a house together. We're going to forage food. We're going to go fishing. We are going to find and make a way. Black men and Black women have been doing that forever, since the beginning of time. Since Adam and Eve were first chosen by the Most High God, we have been together. And we are always going to be together. Okay? All right? So when you hear this stupid nonsense, you should think the sister is being stupid because she's being shallow and minimal by only thinking of herself. She's not thinking of a broader spectrum. She's not thinking of us in its entirety. She's definitely not thinking about the positive Black men that she has encountered. Okay? We know you don't want to be trapped in the forest with a bear. Nobody. Male or female. All right? Now, let me do this for y'all. Let me get the Declaration of Independence, all right? Because we already went over a class of Juneteenth. We understand what Juneteenth is all about. My question to everyone is, why are you celebrating Juneteenth and then celebrating the 4th of July? I'm getting a lot of responses. I've gotten responses. Well, we are American, so we should celebrate the 4th of July. Excuse me. Are American, so we should celebrate the 4th of July. Okay. All right. So we're American, we should celebrate the 4th of July, right? Okay, if that's the case, are we truly American? And what is the 4th of July? Are we truly American? Because the 4th of July is for Americans, right? Specifically, that are connected with the Declaration of Independence. All right. Now, Juneteenth is to express our freedoms. Our freedoms, 1865, after chattel slavery, after the Civil War, the North, the Union, went to plantations to tell the people on the plantations, the slaves, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, that you no longer are slaves. The Emancipation of Proclamation is in full effect. You can leave the plantation. That's Juneteenth. All right? Okay. Now, 4th of July. The United States The United States Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4th, 1776, is the foundational, listen to this, is the foundational document in which the 13 colonies severed political ties with Great Britain. This is the foundational document. This is America's independence, United States of America. The 13 colonies wanted to detach themselves, to sever themselves, and be independent from Great Britain, from England. And in doing that, whatever it may be, it says political ties, whatever it may be, politics, religion, the Americans, quote unquote, because they have deemed and termed and called this America. The white man called this America. So when you're being called an American, you're being called something by a white man. We did not have you under the title of American. You weren't an American in 1776. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans here in the United States, in those 13 colonies, you were not considered an American. In 1776, the 4th of July, the Declaration of Independence was written. Drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson, it asserts universal human rights, including, it asserts universal human rights. The Declaration of Independence is written for human rights. Now here comes the hypocrisy. Here comes the hypocrisy. And General Muhammad brought out last night that there was another drafted Declaration of Independence that was written by Thomas Jefferson. That was later discovered by his son or his grandson in 1826. And this drafted Declaration of Independence was to abolish slavery and spoke on the hypocrisy of wanting independence and having slaves. But remember, the Declaration of Independence had signatures on it, had representatives of the 13 colonies. Is that? What is that? What is the representation of the 13 colonies? What could that possibly be? What could that possibly be? Representation of the 13 colonies. It included southern states. It included people who were in agreement in the North and in the South who wanted slavery. So Thomas Jefferson went ahead and proceeded and said, you know, I can't, this is why it's a draft. It's called a rough draft. Because you can alter it. Okay? It does not become the documentation until it's signed. The Declaration of Independence could not be signed by everyone that went into that meeting that you see on the back of your dollar bills, okay? You see on the posters and the pictures and in the movies. It's a famous picture, a painting of them sitting at a table, all lined up in a meeting in Philadelphia, right? Isn't it Philadelphia? Liberty Hall? I don't know. I think so. That's why they call it the 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers. Because it happened in Philadelphia. They locked themselves in this room. And they had to make an agreement to it, and everyone signed it. First to sign was John Hancock. I think John Hancock, that's why they say sign your John Hancock. These men signed their signatures to agree that we are going to be separate from the British. And how hypocritical they are to say, drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson, it asserts universal human rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The preamble. The famous opening asserts that all men are created equal. Are all men created equal? All men created equal. Are all men created equal? No. Even though it says that, that's not what it means. It doesn't include blacks. It does not include you. The Declaration of Independence does not include you. Although it says all men are created equal. You were in chains, and this is written. You were 3/5. You weren't even 3/5 a human being at this time. In 1776, you were enslaved. Okay? The 3/5 compromise was 1787. The 3/5 compromise, also known as the Constitutional Compromise of 1787, was an agreement reached during the 1787 United States Constitutional Convention over the inclusion of slaves and counting a state's total population. This count would determine the number of seats in the House of Representatives and the number of electoral votes. Y'all love voting. Y'all big on voting. You know, nigga, you 3/5 of a human being. The Electoral College was created specifically for you to be a slave. 3/5 of a human being at 1787. In 1776, they did not even give us that grace. They did not give us that space. They did not even give us that title. We were still slaves. In 1776, approximately 500,000 enslaved black people, roughly 20% of the colonial population, lived in the 13 colonies. Though the Declaration of Independence states all men are created equal, slavery was explicitly legal across all states, deeply embedded in the economy, and practiced by many founding fathers. The founding fathers writing the Declaration of Independence had your founding fathers, had your forefathers, your ancestors. Y'all love the term ancestors so much. Like your ancestors enslaved, in chains, beaten, hung from trees, raped, fed your babies to alligators, serving inside their houses, outside their houses, all types of matters. They were eating us, literally eating us. There's a book called The Delectable Negro that goes in specifics about how they ate us, how they skinned us alive. And this is during the Declaration of Independence. So when it says all men are created equal, they're only talking about themselves. They're only talking about who they are, white people, white men. Declaration revisions. Thomas Jefferson's initial draft condemned the British monarchy for waging cruel war against human nature and bringing the slave trade to the Americas. Continental Congress removed this passage to appease delegates from Southern colonies and Northern merchants. The white man does not give a damn about humanity. He cares about his own belly. He wants to make money. He cares more about the economy than you, right? And not only that, racism is older than the Declaration of Independence. America is 250 years of age. Slavery in America is 500 years of age. It's 500 years of age. 1400s, 1500s. The Native Americans acknowledge 4th of July. What are we celebrating the 4th of July for? That brought colonialism. That brought oppression. That brought massive genocide. And instead of them having dignity, the founding fathers that you love so much, your presidents, your George Washingtons, your Abraham Lincolns, all of them, your Thomas Jeffersons, your Benjamin Franklins, all of them went ahead. All of them went ahead and did what the hell they wanted to do, right? You heard what this said? The Continental Congress removed the passage to appease delegates from the Southern colonies. It's because it was in the South, right? Slavery was in the South, heavy in the South, economic. It was all across the 13 colonies, but it was more heavily in the South. Why? Because the seasons, spring and summer, last longer in the South. When I say last longer, the weather, the temperatures to grow agriculture. You have a better climate in the southern states than you do in the north. But northern merchants. The contradiction, the paradox of fighting for liberty while holding others in bondage sparked early abolitionist petitions in New England and caused British officials like the Lord Dunmore to exploit this hypocrisy by offering freedom to enslaved people who joined the British Army. Black participation, driven by the pursuit of freedom, between 5,000 and 8,000 Black Americans served in the Continental Forces, while thousands more fled to or fought for the British. Okay, sorry, y'all. Thank y'all again for y'all patience. Trying to find this place here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's the Declaration of Independence. When it says in the Declaration of Independence, let me pull this up here. Because the brother in Tennessee, I forget his name, he's a politician. He's become famous in the past 2-3 years. He has the afro with the glasses, young, skinny brother, some politician. And he's always protesting. He made a comment. He said, "We the people We the people, and got everybody to chant. We the people sound like us. Sound like some a black person would say. Broken English. We the people. Don't you like that? So we are in mind. We should go and vote. He's dumb. That brother, as intelligent as he is, he's stupid. He's very dumb and stupid to believe that we are the people in the Constitution. We, the people, represents the core democratic promise that authority comes from the citizens, not a king. What citizens were there? In 1776, you had citizens and you had slaves. What the hell are we? Are we citizens or are we slaves? We were slaves. We're not citizens. We're not citizens here. Okay. Sorry. So when you, I even had somebody tell me that the flag, the Juneteenth flag, is red, white, and blue. Just like the American flag. So we should do it together. We should look at it like that. The Juneteenth flag is red, white, and blue too. That's because we're slaves. The slave is going to take on the language, the ideology, right? The philosophy, the politics, the religion of the slave master. That is so sad that Black people in America saying we are American, knowing that they don't have an identity. That shows and proves we don't have an identity. That we rather celebrate the 4th of July than to sacrifice and to search for our own identity and our own purpose. We can't. The Bible says this, and I'm going to finish with this. The Bible says this. No man can serve two masters. Either he will love one or hate the other. No man can serve two masters. You cannot serve a white God and a black God. You cannot serve a white country and a black country. You can't do it. Racism is systematic to keep you enslaved. And if you celebrate the 4th of July, either you are a white citizen or you are a slave. With that being said, shalom.